14 of the fantasy football season. Here's a few wide receivers I would start this week. The first guy, Elijah Moore of the New York Jets. So Elijah Moore, the first 5-6 weeks of the season, he came out of the gate slow as this rookie, but the last few weeks here, he's really emerged and been one of the better wide receivers in fantasy football. Week 11 versus Miami, 1 carry, 15 yards, 8 catches, 141 yards, and a touchdown. Week 12 at Houston, 1 carry, 7 yards, 4 catches, 46 yards. And week 13 versus Philly, 1 carry, 9 yards, 6 catches, 77 yards, and a touchdown. So right here, week 14, he's got a great matchup versus the Saints that give up the 5th most fantasy points to wide receivers on the season. Moore's a good playmaker for this Jet team. He's going out there, he's making plays, and this is what you need right now if you're the Jets. They've been looking for that good wide receiver to have for a while, and right now, fantasy owners, they're getting good production here from Elijah Moore. And with a good matchup versus New Orleans this week, I think he has another good game and possibly finds the end zone this week. The next wide receiver I would start is Tyler Lockett of the Seattle Seahawks. So the Seahawks wide receivers this season, they really haven't done much. But Lockett now, the last 3 games here, has been pretty solid in PPR leagues. Week 17 versus Arizona, 4 catches, 115 yards. Week 12 at Washington, 3 catches, 96 yards. And week 13 versus San Francisco, 7 catches, 68 yards, and a touchdown. So right here, he's got a good matchup week 14 at the Houston Texans. Indoor game, obviously, and the Texans really don't stop anyone. So I think once again, for the 4th week in a row, we're going to see Tyler Lockett in PPR leagues hit the double digits in fantasy points. And it wouldn't surprise me as well if he finds the end zone in this one. The next wide receiver is Mike Williams of the Los Angeles Chargers. So Mike Williams last week with a big ball game at the Cincinnati Bengals. 5 catches, 110 yards for him. And the last few weeks, the production's picked back up after it was a struggle for him from week 6 to 10. Week 11 versus Pittsburgh, 5 catches, 97 yards, and a touchdown. Week 12 at Denver, a down game, 4 catches, 39 yards. And week 13 at Cincy, 5 catches, 110 yards. So week 14, good matchup for him versus the New York Giants that give up the 9th most fantasy points to wide receivers on the season. And it wouldn't surprise me to see Mike Williams in this one find the end zone in this game and maybe catch a deep ball or two, because this Giant defense really don't stop wide receivers. And I see a good game for him here. The next wide receiver is Amari Cooper of the Dallas Cowboys. So Amari Cooper, he's been in and out of the lineup this season here, but a few games he's played well, and a few games he hasn't done much. Last week in his return after missing 2 games, 2 catches for 41 yards. But this week here, the reason I have him as a start, it's a good matchup at Washington that gives up the 3rd most fantasy points to receivers, first of all. And second of all, Amari Cooper, in his time with the Dallas Cowboys, have a great track record versus the Washington football team. So right here, I think Cooper in this one could get 60, 70 total yards and find the end zone. And the 5th and final wide receiver I would start this week's another Moore, DJ Moore of the Carolina Panthers. So I like a lot of Panthers this week for fantasy owners. And on the last few games here for DJ Moore, week 10 at Arizona, 4 catches, 24 yards. Week 11 at Washington, 5 catches, 50 yards and a touchdown. And week 12 in Miami, 4 catches, 103 yards. So they're coming off the bye here as the Panthers. And they got a great matchup all around. I said to start Newton, I said to start Hubbard, and I'm going to say to start DJ Moore here. The Falcons give up the 6th most fantasy points to receivers on the season. And right here, there's no way I wouldn't want to play Moore here with this good matchup. Newton having a good rapport and playing good football. So that's a few wide receivers I would start here for week 14 of the fantasy football season.